Hello everyone and welcome to the third installment of the series I like to call Should You Buy It? Where I make every Deadpool fanboy and fangirl's life a little easier by reviewing some of the many things that have come out, both past and present. I figured I would take this episode to feature on Deadpool's most recent series that is out right now, called Deadpool Team Up. As many of you know, this is Deadpool's third ongoing, and many people thought this was absolutely ridiculous. Then, Marvel tried to have the great idea of adding a fourth ongoing series, which comes out next month. So why don't we take a look at this book and see if it's worth picking up. Alright, so this book started with issue 899, and in the very first issue, we have Deadpool teaming up with the Incredible Hercules, also known as one of the Mighty Avengers. I have to say, from just seeing the cover of this book and not knowing much about it, I was not looking forward to it at all. I don't care about Hercules. I have read him in Mighty Avengers, and I never really took a shine to him. I've always been more of a Thor guy. But then I read this issue, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! Yes, issue 899 of Deadpool Team Up is quite possibly one of the best reads I've read of any Deadpool comic in years. Van Lett, he's the writer of the Incredible Hercules book, was the one who was writing this book, which is probably why Hercules was in it. Did a very, very good job. It's a very psychologically driven, paced really well, and the villains are lame in this issue. But, you know, I'm not one to read specifically for villains, I'm one to read for heroes. And they did a great job having Deadpool have to face off against himself and his own insecurities and stuff like that. And they also have what psychologically drains Hercules as he has to fight his inner demons as well. This issue was fantastic, and I highly recommend going out and buying $8.99. It's fantastic. So should you buy it? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. 100% yes. And then the next issue, of course, is issue 898. And in this issue, he's teamed up with the Zapata brothers. If you don't know who the Zapata brothers are, well, you're probably 99 out of every 100 comic book fans out there, because the Zapata brothers are a new addition to the Marvel Universe. Mike Benson invented them, and guess what? Mike Benson wrote this issue. You might recognize the name. He wrote the Suicide Kings arc, as well as Games of Death. I think Mike Benson is a great fit for Deadpool. This book, again, is another example of how good he is at writing the character. The problem with this book is that since Deadpool Team Up is just like basically a series of throwaway issues or one-shots, kind of loosely strung together, they don't even have the same writer from book to book. So you can only you have to fit all of the story into one book. That really shows in this book, because he's trying to fit an entire story arc into one book, and so the pacing of it's all over the place. It makes it very difficult to read. Like there isn't a whole lot of time for like dialogue or witty banter. It's all about plot. It's all about story, and so you miss a little bit of it. It's still very entertaining. It's still interesting. It's just it feels like there's too much in one issue. I would have loved this to have been a two-parter. If this was a two-parter or maybe even a three-parter, this would have been amazing. But that's not what Deadpool Team Up's about, and that's a problem if you ask me. So should you buy this issue? Yeah, I'd still say you should buy this issue, but you don't necessarily need to. Alright, and then we move on to issue 897. In 897, Deadpool teams up with the Ghost Riders. I think it's Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch. Yeah, I think that's the two of them. And so Deadpool is kind of like at this carnival, and there's all these funny shenanigans happening, and he has to team up with the Ghost Riders to kill this demon guy who's taken over the carnival. This issue was interesting. It had a lot of fun points to it, but Do I really think you need to buy it? No. There are some really funny jokes. It's definitely not the worst book out there, but there's not really enough redeeming qualities of this book that you should get it. So I would say just skip this one. No on Deadpool Team Up 897. But then we get to issue 896. And in issue 896, Deadpool teams up with a character named US Ace. Don't know who US Ace is? Good. Nobody knows who US Ace is. US Ace was a truck driver from space that had a comic book in the 80s that lasted like 25 issues. And I think he's in a few She-Hulk comics too. Other than that, he has nothing to do with the Marvel Universe, and they just decided to randomly bring him back for this book. Obviously, what they're doing with this book now is they're trying to give some of the lesser-known characters a spotlight through Deadpool. And it's painstakingly obvious in this issue, because this doesn't even feel like a Deadpool book. This feels like Deadpool sort of tacked in there, and this other character is the central character of this book. Through half of the book, Deadpool's not even there. Like, he's off doing something else. He's in the other truck, while the central perspective is this US Ace character. I'm sorry. I don't want to see US Ace. I want to see Deadpool. That's why I bought a book called Deadpool Team Up. It should be him teaming up with other people, not other people teaming up with him. If that makes any sense. So, should you buy this book? God, no. This was awful. It had, like, a good joke here and there, but it just doesn't feel like a Deadpool book, and it really, really annoys me. Then, issue 895 came out. I believe that came out last week. This is some more of the same stuff that we saw in issue 896. In this one, Deadpool teams up with It, the Living Colossus. And again, if you don't know who It, the Living Colossus is, that's because nobody knows who It, the Living Colossus is. Because he's some ridiculous, obscure character that they decided to revive out of nowhere. How they're going to do it? They bring Deadpool into it. They even have been talking about how this character's been gone for a long time and why. But you know what? No one cares this character's been gone for a long time because nobody knows who he is. The banter with himself doesn't work in this issue. I actually, because of how bad issue 895 is and issue 896 is, I am no longer going to be picking up Deadpool Team Up. That says a lot because I have every Deadpool appearance ever. Up until this point. And you know what? I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. That's how bad this... I want this to end that badly that I'm willing to give up my perfect collection to stop this. And I hope everybody else can at least only buy stuff that's good. You know, like... Way's book, I don't love it, but it's good. It's good enough. Merc with a Mouth, I'm probably going to... I want to drop Merc with the Mouth, but the covers are so excellent that it keeps roping me back in. And I know a cover isn't everything, but the covers are just that good that I just want to keep getting it. There's nothing about Deadpool Team Up that makes you want to keep getting it. And I'm probably going to feel the same way about Deadpool Corps. I liked Prelude to Deadpool Corps #1. I'd say that's a definite buy. I didn't much care for Prelude to Deadpool Corps #2. I'd say you can skip that. So hey, there's 2 extra reviews for you in there. This was supposed to be about Deadpool Team Up, but I added 2 in there just now. But as I was saying, Deadpool Team Up issue 895 is a... For the love of God, no, don't buy this. It's awful, not interesting, not funny, doesn't have any redeeming qualities to it. The artwork's alright, but it's not enough to make me want to buy this comic. And I'm not picking up the series anymore. I might like flip through a few pages in a comic book shop, and if it looks good, I might get it. I mean, next month's issue, he's teaming up with someone at least I've heard of, so that's something. But these issues are meant to be throwaway issues. Nothing really character-driven is going to happen in them. It's not going to change continuity at all. Other comics probably won't even reference them. You know, it won't matter. So I don't see the point. So I would say an emphatic no on Deadpool Team Up. Get maybe the first 2 or 3 issues, but other than that, stay away from this book.